When they reach high abundance, invasive ants can affect every aspect of our day-to-day life.
You feel like them crawling onto you.
Our ability to grow and harvest crops, and the environment we live in. The ants we see foraging are workers. They don't reproduce. Killing them with fly sprays will not solve the problem. To kill a nest, you must kill the queen who produces new workers and other queens. She is hiding safely in her nest under the ground. There are a number of insecticides available commercially for the management and eradication of invasive ants. Before using any of them, it's important to be aware of the environmental and personal risks they may pose. Always read the material safety data sheet and ensure that anyone handling them has the appropriate safety equipment. Granular baits provide an effective way of treating large areas that are infested by invasive ants. It is important to follow the manufacturer's guidelines for rates of application and to measure and track the amount of bait being introduced into the environment. Here, two 750ml scoops equate to 1 kilogram of bait, enough to fill one manual spreader and to cover 1/10 of a hectare. The rate of bait application can be controlled by adjusting the size of the spreader's aperture. The larger the aperture, the more bait is released. Each spreader creates a swathe of bait that's approximately 2.5 meters wide. Knowing this and the length of the area being treated allows us to calculate how much bait we need to use. Imagine we have a bait with an application rate of 10 kilograms per hectare. That's 10 kilograms every 10,000 square meters, or 10 kilograms every 100 by 100 meter area. We know our spreader holds 1 kilo of bait. This means one spreader load is enough to cover 1/10 of a hectare. We know that 1/10 of a hectare is equivalent to 1,000 square meters. We measure the length of our treatment area and find it is 50 meters. We divide 1,000 by 50 to find out the width of the area we can treat with 1 kilo of bait. In this case, it's 20 meters. We also know that our spreader produces a swathe that is 2.5 meters wide. By dividing 20 meters by 2.5 meters, we know that it will take 8 50-meter tracks to use 1 kilogram of bait. When multiple people are working together to spread the bait, it's important to space them correctly. Holding the spreader in one hand and spreading both arms out will create a space of approximately 2.25 meters. As each spreader creates a 2.5 meter swathe, this spacing will allow a small overlap of bait and ensure the entire area is treated. The team moves in a straight line, maintaining their spacing, until they reach the edge of the treatment area. The outermost member of the group takes a stride into the untreated area, then turns to face the direction they came from. The rest of the team lines up in the same order they were in before and recheck their spacing. The team then proceeds to spread the bait through the next treatment block. This is repeated until the entire treatment area has been covered. To avoid non-target poisoning, granular baits should never be used near open water, where crops are grown, or where livestock or other domestic animals may have access to it. Alternatives, such as paste baits or targeted insecticides, may be used cautiously in such areas. Paste baits typically come in a syringe applicator, or are applied using a corking gun. The cartridge is loaded in the gun, the cap removed, and a nozzle screwed on. In areas where small children or animals may be able to access the bait, it's advisable to apply it at heights greater than 1.5 meters. Because paste bait can dry out and become unattractive to ants, it is best applied to crevices, cracks, and other sheltered areas. Always check the manufacturer's instructions for bait application rates. Here, the bait is applied at 3-meter intervals. When applying paste baits, ensure that the bait spacing is even so as to create a matrix of bait within the treatment area. Pace length can be used as an estimator of distance. Here, the bait is applied at 4 pace intervals. It's important that the bait is tailored to the target ant species' dietary preferences, and it's advisable to test this before a large-scale application. A simple way to test ants' bait preferences is to place a selection of sugar and protein-based lures on a card and see which one the target ant species is most attracted to. Here, cat food, honey, peanut butter and sugar water have been placed on the card. The ants are recruiting to the cat food, suggesting that a protein-based bait will be most successful in attracting the target species. Targeted insecticides offer another alternative to granular bait. They're mixed with water and applied using a garden spray bottle. The insecticide comes as a concentrate and needs to be gently mixed before it can be used. First, pour half of the required volume of water into the bottle. Holding the bottle of insecticide upright, remove the cap from the side of the bottle that has the inbuilt measuring cup. Gently squeeze the middle of the bottle until the measuring cup fills with enough concentrate. Pour the concentrate into the bottle, then pour in the remaining water. Replace the spray nozzle and shake gently to mix the concentrate and water. In areas where small children or animals may be able to access the insecticide, it's advisable to apply it at heights greater than 1.5 meters. Here, the insecticide is applied at 3-meter intervals, and again, this is measured by pacing. The water evaporates, leaving an invisible film made up of a combination of an attractive bait and the insecticide. Ants walk over the film and become covered in the insecticide, which they carry back to the nest, spreading it to the queen and the larvae. The pesticides needed to manage or eradicate invasive ants are not cheap, and on remote islands in the Pacific, the cost of management is far greater than just the cost of the pesticides. There's also the cost of transporting the pesticides to the island, the cost of technical experts, and the time the people of the island need to spend treating the ants, which could be used better elsewhere. These costs can run to hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of dollars. Efficient biosecurity costs comparatively little and can prevent the invasive ants from ever entering the country. Advice and assistance with invasive species management and biosecurity can be obtained from regional agencies such as SPREP and SPC. Management of invasive ants is achievable, but at a cost. Prevention is always better than cure.